In a world where laughter was king.
No in a world, Jack.
What do you mean, no in a world?
It's not that kind of movie.
Oh? Okay. In a land that...
No in a land either.
In a time...
I don't think so.
In a land before time.
It's about a comedian, Jack.
One man.
No.
When your life is no longer your own.
What does that mean?
When everything you know is wrong.
That's wrong.
In an outpost.
No.
On the edge of space.
There's no space.
A girl.
No.
Two girls.
No.
Now.
No.
More than ever.
Stop it.
A renegade cop.
I hate you.
A robot renegade cop.
You're fired.
You're fired.
No, you're actually fired.
I'm fired.
Get out of the booth, Jack.
No, I like it in here.
It's good to see you. I must go. I know I will go.
Hold him. Now you listen to me, you hillbilly punk who thinks the world's still round. I'm here to tell you it's not. It's flat.
He's an interesting guy, man, and you know, he believes it. So, Kyrie, the Earth is flat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, whatever.
That's news.
That's news. Here we go.
Wherever you are, make it Truth Frequency Radio.
Coming back with my microphone reset. Can everybody hear me? I'm counting on a few people out there that are listening to send me a message because I might be live. There's a little bit of a delay. So if I say testing 1, 2, 3, somebody type in 1, 2, 3. Anybody? Anybody out there? All right, I'm trying to say something to Peanut Gallery. Peanut Gallery, can you hear me now? Okay, perfect. All right, well, I guess I'm back. Thank you to TFR for getting me back in. So let me punch up. Let's see how many minutes I've got left in this segment. I've got 15 minutes left in this segment. Let me see if I can have the phone lines real quick. 1 second. We're going to have the phone lines. There are people already in there. One sec. Okay. And yes, Paul on the plane says, hey, are you in? I am in. So let's get the phone lines added to the group. are kind of flying by the seat of our pants at the moment, which means I'm going to have to do some creative editing after this thing is done. And let me turn off the little squeaky sounds because everybody's hitting me with all sorts of stuff. And yes, Zulu 1 can say that I'm on, but there's music playing over me. But you are on. I hear from what I understand, there's music playing over me. One sec. Is there music playing over me? Let's see here. Globebuster says, we can hear you, but turn off the... Okay, the music is now gone. Wow, I wonder if it was my music or some other music, or if it was my intro music. I don't know. And Shauna Collins says, yep. And everybody says, okay, just start the intro. All right, this is going to be an abbreviated show. Everybody that's calling in right now, and I'm looking at you, 931 and 905 and 651. We're going to hold on to you for a minute because I got to do my intro. So let's do this real quick, okay? Guys, ready? Here we go. And wait, I got to look in the chat and say, okay, was the dead air music from TFR? Got it. And it was the TFR music, not my music. Okay, so no music. It was the host disconnect music. Okay, thanks, guys, for everyone that's confirming that. Okay, let's just start from the top, shall we? Broadcasting straight to you from a large spaceship, currently winning the war with the mainstream scientific community. Meanwhile, the peanut gallery is feeling secure now that the Hubble telescope is in safe mode. But not to worry, NASA says they will fix it without a shuttle or any means to get to it. Thank peanut butter for modern wireless repairs. Awesome. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Strange World, where the truth is often stranger than fiction. I'm your host, Mark Sargent, the creator of Flat Earth Clues, which propose that all of us are living inside a Truman Show enclosed structure thousands of miles wide. Check it out at enclosedworld.com or just Google Flat Earth Clues. If you can't find it, well, you're not very good at the internet. For those of you listening to this on YouTube and you want to hear the show live as it happens, please go to Truth Frequency Radio for the latest schedule. Currently, this show is on Tuesday nights at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern.
We're sorry. The participant capacity for this conference has been exceeded. Goodbye.
What just happened? It said did you hear that message in the background? Am I still on? But... okay, I'm just going to keep... hopefully you guys understand that message was in the background. I don't know what it was, but we'll just keep rolling with it. Real quick. Currently, the show is on Tuesday nights at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. And yes, Caroline, if it is not October 9th, 2018, you are listening to a rerun. Quote of the day from the Peanut Gallery. It goes a little something like this. A concept is a brick. It can be used to build a courthouse of reason, or it can be thrown through the window. I get these quotes, and then he gives me these names. Giles Deleuze. It's a terrible name. Gilles Deleuze? I don't know what that is. The Mark Sargent 2018 Flat Earth Challenge is in effect. This is my personal declaration of war from Flat Earth against mainstream science. I, Mark Sargent, hereby put forth a challenge to any university, foreign or domestic, to loan me a NASA-approved self-contained spacesuit. Put me in a vacuum chamber and pull the switch. For more information on this, please check out Flat Earth Clues 13, The Lost Nail. And I got to make a quick shout out to Jan from Dallas, because she had called because she realized I was having technical problems. And so I called her back. And of course, Murphy's Law says as soon as I start talking to her, everything goes back up. So let's see. Yep. Everybody's sending me stuff. Yes, that was random. You're still on. Yep, still on. Yep, still. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and I don't know what the swearing was for. Shauna, come on. What are you doing there? You're better than that. And we got you connected to the call board too. Wow. All right. So knowing that all these things are happening is super wonderful, but I still have to read my article, and I have 10 minutes to do it. So let's scroll up to the article, because I wanted to make sure I read this to you guys. And this is one of those, would the government ever lie to you? The title of this show is going to be something to the regards. Oops, sorry. Hang on here. Sorry, there was a commercial playing on the article. It was throwing me. Okay, and this is the title of the episode is going to be to the effect of why would the government lie to you? You can send this article to anybody whoever says anything regarding that, and I'll see if I can finish it in 10 minutes. The article is on Fox News, and it's called "Civil War Gold Treasure Hunters and Their Lawyer Say the FBI is Acting Suspicious in Wake of a Dig at a Pennsylvania Site." That's a really long title for something that I like to call Civil War Gold, and you'll appreciate this one. So a pair of Pennsylvania treasure hunters and their lawyer are accusing the FBI of playing games and acting suspiciously about a dig at a rural site believed to contain a massive stash of Civil War era gold. The accusations from Dennis and Kem Parada and their attorney Bill Cluck. Wow. Came months after the Bureau said it dug a hole in Dentist Run and found nothing. The father and son duo felt convinced that area of state-owned wilderness northeast of Pittsburgh holds a hidden stash of gold. And the pair claim the FBI went back on their word to let them watch the excavation, and legal efforts to shed more light on the dig have so far been unsuccessful. I don't understand the FBI's behavior. Why would search warrants be sealed at this point in time? The project is over, Cluck told Fox News on Tuesday. I have no idea what motivation the FBI would have for hiding gold if, in fact, it was there, he added. There is no logical explanation except their behavior is suspicious. Right? The legend of buried gold. I'll summarize this at the end. The tale of the treasure being buried in Dent's Run, which has been met with skepticism from state officials and historians, dates back to about the time of 1863 Battle of Gettysburg. The story has it that the Union Army dispatched 2 wagons to deliver the lucrative cargo from West Virginia to Harrisburg, taking a circular route through the wilds of northern Pennsylvania to avoid Confederate troops. The Associated Press says the shipment was believed to have 26 to 52 gold bars, each weighing about 50 pounds and worth up to about $50 million. The Paradas, Cluck told Fox News, have scientific instrumentation indicating that there was precious metals buried at the site and that the FBI, with the help of a device called a gravimeter, also detected something there. But the Paradas and Gettler told the Associated Press that the government's contractor's scan detected a much larger quantity of precious metal than previously thought. 7 to 9 tons of it. An eye-popping haul comes later, haul that could be worth more than $250 million if every ounce of it was gold. How that alleged gold ended up inside the earth is a mystery. The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, in a 2008 feature on the legend citing Lost Treasure magazine, said the wagon train was operated by a Union lieutenant named Castleton, a civilian guide named Connors, and 8 cavalrymen. Only Castleton, it said, knew the contents of the wagons when they set off from Wheeling, West Virginia. Along the way to Harrisburg, Castleton battled a severe fever and at one point let slip the treasure was being transported. Connors took over the mission, and the Post-Gazette reported, but when they got around Driftwood, just east of Dent's Run, the gold would never be seen again. The newspaper says one version of the story was Connors and 2 of the men leaving behind the wagons to seek medical help for Castleton in a nearby village, only to return days later to discover the remaining men stole the gold and headed south. Another version said that Connors stumbling on to a town of Lockhaven and claiming that everyone with him had been killed by backcountry bushwhackers who ransacked the wagons and made off with the loot. But is either account even real? Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources spokesperson Chris Novak told the Post-Gazette in 2008, "We've been unable to pry any proof of lost gold in Elk County, let alone where Mr. Parada said it is located." A Gettysburg College history professor also, there's no listing in Union Army records for this Lieutenant Castleton. There's no documentation, no official report, no paper trail. Okay, this is where it gets interesting. How much time do I got? 5 minutes. I don't think I'm going to finish it in this. I may have to continue. This may be a cliffhanger. The modern day search turns up nothing, but was there really something there? Parada, a longtime fortune hunter, reportedly became interested in the legend in 1975 after hearing it from a man who walked into the furniture store where he had worked. At the end of the court-sanctioned excavation in March, though, the FBI escorted the treasure hunters to the snow-covered site and asked them what they saw. They gazed at the pit, not so much as a glimmer of gold dust, let alone the tons tons of precious metal they said the contractor's instruments had detected. We were embarrassed, Dennis Parada told the Associated Press. They walk us in and they make us look like dummies. We were like we messed up. Since that day, however, neighbors' accounts of the late-night excavation and FBI convoys have fueled suspicions that the agency isn't telling the whole truth. After my years of experience here using equipment, there was something here of value, some kind of precious metal, and whatever it is, it's gone now. And that's what I want to get to the bottom of. That's what was in that hole, Ken Parada said. The FBI said at the conclusion of the excavation, nothing was found. And the Bureau repeated that statement when reached Tuesday by Fox News. FBI investigators must follow the facts. The facts here, as previously stated, is that nothing was found in the excavation. The FBI unequivocally rejects any claims or speculation to the contrary, a statement from the FBI's Philadelphia division said. While we felt it was important to respond to the false supposition promulgated in the media report today, as this matter is related to an ongoing investigation, any additional comment would be inappropriate at this time. The Associated Press reported a Bureau spokesperson told them last week court documents related to the dig are sealed. Sealed. The news agency said that Parada spent 5 years digging in a cave on state land and 2 more years drilling atop the cave before eventually going to the FBI in January this year with their evidence, which eventually led to the court-ordered excavation. The treasure hunters and Gettler said they had an agreement with the FBI to watch the excavation. Officers instead confined them to their car out of sight of the wooded hillside where the backhoe was digging for 6 hours that first day before they were finally allowed up the hill. The digging proceeded for another hour before an agent called abruptly halt at 3 p.m., saying the team was cold, tired, and hungry, and it would be getting dark soon. But the thing was, they were just 3 feet from the target. I said, you got 3 hours of daylight. We're only 3 feet away. The agent replied, Denny, we're going. Where the FBI actually left the woods that afternoon is itself an open question. How much time? 2.5 minutes. Okay, I think I can get close. Cheryl Elder, who lives nearby, told the Associated Press she heard what sounded like a backhoe and jackhammer at least until 2 a.m., the noisy machinery keeping her awake and annoying her because she had to rise early for work. And she saw that the hillside was brightly lit. It was just real loud all night, the former constable recalled. It was driving me nuts. The second day of the excavation was similar to the first, according to the Paradas and Gettler. They said they were confined to their car for several hours, then escorted up the hill to the dig site. By then, a large, empty hole. The FBI had finished the excavation out of their presence. The Paradas said they were cheated of a moment they had spent years working for. You can only dig the gold up once, and that's a historical moment. And here we were robbed of all that, Dennis Parada told the Associated Press. I don't understand why they played that game on us. After the Paradas and Gettler had left, Edler said they saw 6 black SUVs at the site. One by one, she said, they backed up to the bottom of the hill and rendezvoused with one of several all-terrain utility vehicles. Elder tried to use their binoculars, couldn't make out what the investigators were transferring from the ATVs to the SUVs. Heather Sell, who lives in nearby Weedville, these are all great towns, said she was getting her kids ready for school in the morning on the second day when she spied a convoy of FBI vehicles driving past, including 2 large armored trucks. My. And we have 30 seconds to the break. So I want to point, before we go to break, let me summarize real quick. These guys were digging in this area looking for Civil War gold for 3 years. And then finally they asked for FBI for help. The FBI then arrives and does a test, and instead of 50 bars of gold down there, it looks like there's 300 bars of gold down there. And then what do you think happened at that point? That's my question to you as we go to break. And we will take calls along those lines when we come back. So 3 minutes. Hang tough.
Hi, my name is Ella.
This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network.
We are TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Hi, my name is Ella. need resurgence to CRM discriminators? What's cooking on the fretboard? Nothing. I tell you what's gonna do, buddy. You better give Elmo and Charlie a flash, man. Bump everything up to condition ready. Stand by the floor on your base.
Major Kong.
Major Kong.
Hey, what about Major Kong?
Clear and plain and coming through fine.
What about
It's great to be fine.
What about Major
What's
Kong?
happened? You see the string in my leg scarring.
What about Major
I
Kong?
never told you.
Hey, what about Major Kong?
Welcome back to Strange World, part 3 of 4. Even though we missed part 1, I'm sorry. But this is technically it's part 3 of 4, and then we have one more after this. This particular episode is going to be called Flat Earth and Would the Government Lie to You? Yes, it would. And there was an article that I read this morning. It wasn't 10 years ago. It wasn't last month. It was actually this morning on Fox News. And it's a really long title, and I don't even like the title. It's called Civil War Gold Treasure Hunters and Their Lawyers Say FBI is Acting Suspicious in Wake of Dig at Pennsylvania Site. And but the title should be called The Civil War Gold That the FBI Stole. Or stole back, I should say, because here's where it gets interesting. So let me recap the story real quick. So these guys, these treasure hunters, there's lots of people. They find maps and stories about sunken ships and stuff like this. Was particular on land, and most of the time we hear about Confederate gold, right? That's the big thing. So this is Northern gold. It was earmarked to pay the Northern troops, probably sent by Lincoln himself, right? And Peanut Gallery says, I'm just impressed you read Fox News. No, I read all of them. Every morning I check all the news feeds. I check CNN, NBC, Fox, and RT, Russia Today. I just try to get a good, and this one really stuck out to me. Okay. So sorry, let's get back to this. So this gold was on the way to pay the Union troops back in 1863. It doesn't make it. Various reasons. People get funny when it comes to gold, even back in the olden days, right? The gold wasn't as expensive, but it was still gold. It wasn't paper money. It was the real deal. And these were 50-pound bars of gold. So somebody rips off somebody and somebody rips off somebody else. And eventually it gets stuck in a cave somewhere in Pennsylvania. And then over a period of time, they lose track. The numbers of exactly how much gold was in there were messed up. And so these treasure hunters, these couple yokels in Pennsylvania, they look for this thing for 3 years, and they're pretty sure they know where it is. It's buried in this cave somewhere, and they're digging from, I think, the top down to get into this thing. And eventually, out of desperation, they ask the FBI for help. The FBI goes in with a special sensor, and it looks, and instead of 50 bars, it looks like it's about 300 bars of gold, totaling about $250 million in today. Even if I'm rounding down to about $1,000 an ounce. So you guys can round it any way we want. Remember, so 50 pounds would be 50 times 16 ounces per pound times $1,000 per ounce. That's, again, rounding down. Not to mention it's Civil War gold. It's got to have some historical value, but that doesn't mean anything. It's the gold is what we're talking about here. The second the government found that, they got those treasure hunters. They kept them as far away as possible. Basically, they locked them in their car. Said, no. We, for procedure and protocol, you can't watch us do the excavation, right? And so they do the excavation, and these guys are in the car, but they're still not into where the gold is. And 3 feet before they get to the excavation, they say, oh, tired, sleepy. Let's just call it good till the morning, right? And the treasure hunters who are just jacked up on adrenaline going, what are you talking about? You're right there. You're 3 feet from this. Oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry. We'll pick up in the morning. They send the treasure hunters home. Next day, the treasure hunters show up, and the FBI is just kind of packing up their stuff. And they say, oh, yeah, come on over. You can look and see what we found. They walk the treasure hunters up there, and there's this big empty hole. And nothing there. Didn't find anything. Meanwhile, all the neighbors that were around there saw all this activity happening. Basically, what happened was the government, the second they said, oh, sleepy, time to go home, the second those treasure hunters were out of sight, they bring in their fastest team possible. They work more or less all night. They take ATVs and take these bars down, because the armored cars weren't going to make it up that muddy hill. They take the ATVs and transfer it down to the SUVs and the armored cars, and they run a full-blown armored car envoy full of gold. They get it out of there, and that was it. And you're saying, okay, Mark, what's your point? My point is two things. When enough money is involved, people will do just about anything. Would the government lie to you? Yes, they would. In this particular case, yes, they would. $250 million is a little chunk of change in anybody's pocket. I don't care how rich you are. And in that case, they just said, you know what, we're going to cut through all the red tape. Because think about it. It'd be kind of a fun story for the media. It's like, oh, look at that Civil War gold. But at the same time, you're looking. I mean, the governor, for example, of Pennsylvania, he's going to step in 2 seconds and say, well, I think it'd be a nice donation to give us some of that money. And maybe the treasure hunter is like, look, we've been working on this thing for 3 years. We don't get a finder's fee. Everyone would want a little piece of the action there. In this case, the FBI has jurisdiction. They've got their own agency. Who knows? That's pretty good money for the FBI coffers. This isn't CIA or Secret Service or NSA or DOD or Naval Intelligence. This is FBI, right? This is X-Files people. They need Porsches too, or whatever they're going to do with the gold. So they cart it out of there and they blow and they just say, nope, nothing, and they seal the records. Officially, and if the governor of Pennsylvania wanted to step in and says, oh, we need to see those, they'd probably claim national security. Second point is that did the government have a right to do this? Technically, they probably did, because remember, this was Northern gold being used. This was government money, which was going to be used to pay the troops. So technically, yeah. Yeah, you're not even stealing the gold. You're just taking your gold back. Technically, the government, it was Washington, D.C.'s gold to begin with. So, yeah, they just, again, blew through the red tape and says, look, bottom line, it was their gold. So nobody gets it but us. We lost it. You guys found it. Yeah. In a perfect world, if I was the agent in charge or the bureau in charge, I would cut I would cut a nice hefty check for the treasure hunters and maybe some nice charity check for the Pennsylvania, but that's about it. So how about that? So anyway, the other thing is, one more point to this, which is when it comes to the money, we're talking about $250 million, which is a lot of money, right? This is how I tie it back into Flat Earth and NASA. $250 million doesn't even pay for a week of what NASA spends. Not even a week. We give NASA, depending on what you're looking at, $52 to $53 million a day. That only takes you Monday through Friday. That's how much money we're talking about. That's the sort of perspective I'm trying to give you, which is NASA gets paid 19 point something billion a year. That $250 million in gold, which is a treasure by anybody's standards for multiple lifetimes. Nothing compared to NASA. Nothing compared to that sort of money. So there you go. So would the government lie to you? Yeah. If money and power are involved, they will do just about anything, whether it's steal your gold or tell you a few lies. And in some cases, really, really big lies. So if you guys want to check it out, the article yourself, go ahead and read it. We'll see how quickly it disappears. It's on Fox News. Just type in Civil War gold. Okay. We got some phone calls on the line, and I know somebody's calling in from Canada. So let's pick that up real quick. 905, are you there? And sorry for you were on the wait for so long.
No worries, Mark. How you doing? It's Brian from Niagara Falls.
Hey, what's going on, man?
I've written some notes down, and it sounds like the Nicolas Cage movie National Treasure 3 is I Got Screwed.
Nice. You know what? I didn't even until you said it, I didn't even think about National Treasure, those first two movies, and how that was about lost gold. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, but this wasn't a huge, I mean, when you look at the National Treasure rooms, from those movies, those things were huge. I mean, those things literally were worth, oh my God, probably $100 billion. There was so many, those rooms were just ridiculously. I mean, you could destroy economies with that sort of money that was in those rooms. But and again, people forget how dense gold is. Remember, gold is twice as dense as lead. So a 50-pound bar, which is worth pushing $1 million, right, is nothing. I mean, it just looks like a brick. It doesn't look like anything at all, but it's pure gold. And I mean, I can see why the treasure hunters were going after this thing for so long. So
hell, we can get through the Van Allen radiation belts with that. That's what we got to line our rockets with. And I don't even have that written down. That one's off the top of my head. But you know what I'm saying.
Right. I do. It's an interesting story because it's a short and sweet thing that people can relate to, that they understand. It's like, look, the government, do governments lie to people? Well, think of it more simple than that. Men lie to other men. And the old line from Vanilla Sky, which is 9 out of every 10 problems revolve around money. And what I have learned through media over the years, one of the things I've learned is that when you get up to a certain dollar amount, that's when the big players step in, right? When it was just what, 25 to 50 bars, they didn't even care that much. It was like, yeah, whatever. You know, it was kind of like on the borderline. But once you started talking about 300 bars, they're like, yeah, in fact, honestly, they're lucky nobody came up missing from that. You know, where, you know, like let's say the guys got out of the car and wandered up there and saw these guys loading bars into the ATVs. You know, at that point, what do you do? Do you swear them to secrecy, or do you say there was some sort of accident inside the cave with a cave in? You know, what do you do in that case? I don't know what the protocol is. Is it a judgment deal? It's interesting.
Well, if you send the researchers home and anybody that watched it each gets a quarter of a bar of gold to keep their mouth shut, that'll pretty much do it.
Yeah, you'd think so. The problem with, you know, the Benjamin Franklin line, I still think holds, which is how do you keep a secret between 3 people? Well, you kill 2 of them. You do. I mean, because, well, come on, where are you gonna turn in the gold to? You're going to have to find a smelter. You're going to have to find a gold bullion broker. It's too cool a story. Plus, these guys have been talking about it nonstop for 3 years. So it's tough. And I feel bad. I feel bad for the treasure hunters. You know, it's snaked out from underneath them. You know, they didn't even get a chance to see, you know, and technically the government can't even send them a picture of it because, you know, they post that picture, you know, everywhere they got. It's like, I told you. And then, you know, it'd get back to the governor and there'd be this big stink about it. Plus other agencies. It's not like the FBI just has to share it with anybody. They could. Now, the other agencies probably know full well. The CIA is going, yeah, they probably got it. But unless it goes public, what are you going to do? It's in the FBI's vault. So, anyway, thought it was an interesting, national treasure. Or what was that one with Matthew McConaughey? Do you remember that movie, the Confederate gold ship that was sent on the Merrimack, I believe? That one?
I remember the cover of the video or DVD, but I do not remember the name.
Fun little movie. Matthew McConaughey, Penelope Cruz, and I don't remember his sidekick, but it was called Sahara. Peanut Gallery found it. Yeah, Sahara.
Oh yes, Sahara.
Yeah. Yep, and yep, yeah, excellent. Yeah, it was a fun little show. But that was about Confederate gold that was put on one of the 2 metal plated, or the early battleships. You know, the legendary battle between the Merrimack and the Monitor, and they put it on the Merrimack and actually went out into the ocean and ended up in Africa somewhere during a typhoon, and they got stranded. But that was kind of a fun story. So again, we're all romantic, you know, about the whole, you know, finding lost treasure somewhere. But let's face it, if the government gets there first, it's their treasure. And in this case, come on, it was. I mean, I don't know what they do up in Canada, but it was the government's money. So were they stealing? No, not really. I mean, they were the ones that actually melted the bars 150 years ago. So I don't know. Anyway, what else is on your mind?
I got to tell you, Mark, I loved interview 172. I don't know how to pronounce the guy's name, so I didn't write it down. But that guy was fantastic. And all your points were really bang on. Just everything that you mentioned to that guy was.
Oh,
great.
thank you. Howard Hughes, that guy, or the was it the British guy or the American guy?
It's got to be. Actually, they both sounded kind of British to me.
Okay, was it the last one I just did?
The guy was a. No, the second to last.
Oh yeah. That was
he was totally on board.
Yeah. He was totally on board. He was totally on board compared to the guy from London who not so much.
Yeah.
But that's okay. You know, you can't have people that are totally on board with you all the time.
Well, but no, he was just jumping to get at you. When you mentioned Gus Grissom and the fact that he was taken out,
right?
Like he just was like, "Oh, but the families of Gus Grissom who would probably agree with you 100%."
I was surprised at that because even if you don't believe in flat Earth, most people think that Gus Grissom was taken out. I mean, you know, he was the only astronaut that was publicly critical of the program. He hung a lemon on the side of the capsule for the media, right? And he was supposed to be the first man on the moon. And if he wants to say, "Oh, that's offensive to the," it's like, who are you, Piers Morgan? Come on, what offensive? I'm saying that he didn't die a hero's death. I'm saying he was executed for standing up. I'm saying he was a real hero rather than a media hero. You know, he stood up for his beliefs and wasn't shy about it. Now, granted, he didn't toe the company line and probably broke a few military protocols. And honestly, him dying was kind of like it might as well have been a firing squad. In fact, it probably was a firing squad. I don't think he was burned up in a capsule. I think he was probably shot. And, you know, then they just burned up the capsule. But anyway.
And he was the main guy in the right stuff, was he not?
He was one of the guys in the right stuff, yes.
Grissom?
Yeah, Gus Grissom. He was again.
Pretty much
he was the lead guy. People talk about John Glenn and Neil Armstrong. It's like no, Gus Grissom was the guy. He was, you know, he had a cooler name, he had a cooler haircut. You know, the guy was outspoken, and again, it got him in trouble at the end. And well, to the point where he knew. It was like he was looking. He's going, "There's no way." He goes, "There's no freaking way. This is going to work." You know, great.
And the intro.
The what?
Oh, the intro. He rode to the bar on a horse. How does somebody not super cool get to a bar if they're not riding a horse where they tie it off?
Yeah, I'd love to read Chuck Yeager's memoirs on Gus Grissom if he has them. I'd love to hear that because Chuck Yeager, I think, knows more than he's saying. You know, he declined not to be part of anything there. He totally could have been an astronaut, and he decided to stick with the Air Force and become the best pilot ever. And the Neil Armstrong quote, which I loved, you know, because the First Man, the movie about the moon missions, is coming out, and he decided to, and you know, they decided not to plant the American flag, and Neil Armstrong had passed away years ago. And his family was defending it. His family saying, "Oh yeah," you know, his sons were saying, "Oh yeah, Neil would have minded them not putting the American flag on the moon," and Chuck Yeager tweeted. I'm impressed that he tweets because I don't tweet. Chuck Yeager tweeted this very small phrase, and he says, "That's not the Neil Armstrong I knew." So he was like kind of saying, "It's like I don't know what you're talking about because you're trying to make him into something he isn't." Anyway, I got to pick up a few more calls before I go to the break. Anything else? Any shout outs?
Can I give you two more very fast? Well, the first one's fast, but the second one might not.
Okay.
But I was hanging out with ballers. Yeah, hanging out with ballers, and I got the Cavendish experiment. We all know that's complete BS. But after that, they mentioned that there are dams and reservoirs that have been put in the northern hemisphere that significantly slow down the rotation of the northern hemisphere to a microscopic level and prove that the Earth is slowing down somehow at some point. And when I told them, try to prove it for yourself, I was just blown off, and that really made me angry.
Yeah, I bet. What's the, no doubt, what's the last one?
Well, no, it was the reservoir thing.
Oh, that was it?
I don't know if I started speaking too fast.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Cavendish pissed me off, but
the
reservoir
thing is ridiculous. Of course, there's no way.
No one can prove it.
Right.
And cognitive dissonance or distant. I was screwing that one up, but I didn't write that one down.
Right.
And that just made me mad. Anyway, Mark, thanks for taking my call. Looking forward to the next caller.
Me too.
All right. Bye.
All right. See ya. Bye-bye. All right. Let's go to 651. 651, you're on with Strange World. Better late than never.
Hello, and I am Wesley Stace, Flat Earth News Talk. Wait for it. Go, sir.
Wes. Why do you insist? I mean, I would have thought since the show is shorter than usual, you would actually spare me the suffering and indignity of speaking with you.
Oh, heavens no, because this here I've been smiling ever since the technical difficulties. Telling you in my head, but now I'm going to tell you not to your face, but I'm going to tell you, I don't want to hear any more complaints about my technical difficulties. It stops today.
Okay, first off, not a chance in hell, because in my machine, my machine's perfect. This machine, the rig I have set up is pretty much bulletproof at this point. If the station doesn't pick up, that's a whole other thing. I got everything ready, and I hit go.
Which you've proven for the last 2 weeks. Come on.
It's not me, but yes, I realize that making fun of your technical difficulties may prompt the technical support gods who have been kind to me over the years to not be as generous in their mercy. But that's fine. Quote from the Peanut Gallery just for you. Think left and think right and think low and think high. Oh, the thinks you can think up if only you try. That's from Dr. Seuss. And he says you would probably
I knew it was going to be
that.
a bad.
Yeah, he said you'd understand because it's a children's book.
I know. I deserve that one because I kind of threw a quote in, or not a quote, but I threw a comment in the chat saying that he didn't have enough oxygen when he was a fetus. So I deserve that one. I knew
that's not good. See that? I think that's a little lower than saying that you read at a childhood level.
That's downright. Yeah, that's downright terrible of me. I'm sorry. Sorry.
I mean, what if he...
anyhow, the reason why I was going to be calling in was to talk about a quick thing that I just noticed on a lot of Flat Earth. This is the ironic part. On a lot of Flat Earth videos, they have the commercials, right? And there's a movie coming out that is called First Man. Now, if you recall, I remember you saying quite a few years ago, they've never made a movie about the moon.
Yes.
And here they are. Again, they're not saying it's a movie about the moon, just First Man, which is, the obvious. They're going to, basically, I don't even think they're going to use his name. Do you?
Oh, yeah, they will. I know everything about this movie. As a matter of fact, you weren't listening to the show. You were just calling in and you were on hold, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, the last caller, we were actually just talking about this. So the First Man movie with Neil Armstrong, with Ryan Gosling playing Neil Armstrong. The big problem, the big controversy, which you'll see, is that they decided to omit the American flag from the movie. Because it's a Canadian director and a Canadian lead actor. And the producers are on board with this too. And of course, we all know it's because of the world markets. They don't want to do the rah, go team. Well, and in fact, the director says, well, it's a human achievement. It's not an American achievement. And I said, whoa. If anyone should take credit for faking the moon landings, it should be the Americans. Don't you start pinning this on other people. In 1968, 1969, nobody cared about anything. It was the Americans. It's not like we were going to fly the UN flag. Never in a million years. Even if it's a fake production, are you going to use the UN flag? Now, will they spend much time on the moon? I don't know. I'm not going to see it unless I get it for free. Even then, I'll probably watch it for technical value. But it's going to be more of the right stuff, the right stuff from 1983. It's going to be mostly the lead up to it. I mean, you can't spend that much time on the moon because you're going to give away production techniques if you do. You got 60 seconds until we go to music. 60 seconds. So go. What do you got?
Yeah. And you can also tell that they're not going, well, you could put me right through because I have more to say.
No.
No. Figures. Okay. But anyhow, just a quick word that probably nobody knows, but it's very possible I may be getting my own radio internet show. And I'm not going to say what the name of the place is, but let's just say it's geared towards flat Earth.
Cool. That's awesome, man.
So,
I'm very happy for you. Congratulations, if it happens.
I know you're not, but that's thanks for the sound.
No, I am very happy. I'm a little worried for the station, knowing that you might blow the place up with your electronic nightmare.
My technical difficulties, right?
Exactly. Yeah. In fact,
Paul,
the Peanut Gallery says the world may actually be ending. This is if Wes gets his own show.
Yeah.
And you know what? With that, we're going to go to music. So say goodbye, Wes.
All right. Goodbye, Wes.
Check wallet for his name. His face is in the muck. I think his zipper's stuck.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
No hate, no hype, no fear. Real people, real radio.
Welcome back to Strange World, part 4 of 4. The last part, we just finished up a 3-hour Justin Bieber Wine-a-thon, and before that, the Taylor Swift Hour of Power. But that, right there, that was Joe Jackson stepping out from his album, Night and Day. All right, let's jump to the phone lines. Phone number to call in, by the way, is 213-233-3998. That's 213-233-3998. Let's pick up 845. 845. Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it.
New York, New York.
There you go.
Those vagabond shoes. I'm sorry, that's my favorite part. I can't help it.
No, I like
my
the vagabond shoes. That's a great line. I think it's the only time really in lyrics that you hear that term, vagabond shoes.
Probably.
The
man, so technical difficulties, eh?
Oh my Lord. Yeah, I did have some technical difficulties. It happens.
Yeah.
Look, again, if I hadn't been in technical support for all those years, I'd go out of my head. But I've seen just about everything technical. Either it's mechanical or it's software based or it's power based. Oh my God, connection based. You name it. Quote for you, by the way. Let's get this out of the way now. That way, the Peanut Gallery doesn't keep just hammering on me.
I'll give you mine.
Politicians and diapers must be changed often, and for the same reason. That's from Mark Twain.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right.
No doubt. Here's a quick one. I know you got a lot of people.
That's right.
Whatever you are, be a good one. Very simple, right?
That's good.
You know who that was?
No.
Abraham Lincoln.
Oh.
Yeah, very, very straight and to the point.
Good.
Like I said, I know you got a lot of people. I'll make it quick.
No. You're fine. Look, man.
Okay.
It's you. So what do you got? You're cool.
No. I didn't want to. Like I said, I didn't. Well, you know how some people say I'm long-winded.
No,
I didn't-
no. People,
yeah, unbelievable, right?
people
I don't
don't
know-
say that
I don't
about
know
you,
where
as
to get
far
that.
as you know. No, they don't.
Yeah, I don't really get that.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, what'd you think of the Civil War gold thing? That's up in your neck of the woods.
Isn't that that's so crappy? I mean, they should have at least got a finder's fee, something. I mean, you're talking if there were 300 bars, what, like $200 million?
To about 250.
can't-
If you
can't-
round down, it was probably about 250.
Yeah, you can't throw the guys a bone. Here's $1 million.
Yeah, I know,
Or-
but at
well,
the same time,
I guess they have to keep it quiet.
yeah, I mean, if you're talking to enough guys, here's the thing. You're talking about guys that have been spinning this story for a while, right? It's like, where you gonna go to that stupid cave? Yep. Every year they go up to the cave. And, now give them gold? No, probably cut them a check. Or me, if it was me, okay, if it was me, if I was the agent in charge, here's what I would do. I would get some evidence, some cash from the evidence room, just straight up drug cash, right? I would make an anonymous delivery to them.
Plant it in their car.
Yeah, just dump it in their car when they're not looking, right? With a nothing, nothing, and hope to God they take the hint. And because that way, it's not traced back to them. And then, if they want, you could like as they're opening their car, you have one of your sedans parked next to them and you just have guys in sunglasses, like give them a little salute as you back out and leave. That's all you have to do. And no words have to be exchanged. No phone
give
calls.
Give them the nod.
Yeah. But do I blame the government? No, of course not. Sorry, no. I do the same thing. It's like
course.
We got to take it, and in this case,
what did they expect to happen? Why did they approach the FBI? I mean, what did you expect?
They're the guys you call. They're ones. I'm not going to pick on the FBI. They're
I thought you only had to dial 811 if you were digging. Come on.
No, not like this. No, because they needed something like a forensic. They probably got a tip from somebody that said, "Look, these guys have the sensors. Who else are you going to call? Really, you could call a university, I suppose, and have them come out like a geologic survey team, maybe. But who knows what they're charging to do it? What do they want out of it? The FBI. It's like maybe they'd help you out. Who knows what they read that said that? Oh yeah, the FBI will help you with this sort of thing. Don't know. But again, it's a fun little story because full well. It was a national. And depending on the property, that may have been because if it was state-owned property, yeah,
that's true.
That would have been really cool, though. I got to tell you, it would have been. I mean, it would have been a life-affirming moment for them. You see it. There it is. It's gold sent by Lincoln himself.
I was laughing. I'm so sorry for those guys, but I was laughing when you said they escorted them up, and there's an empty hole. There's your hole, fellas.
Yeah, didn't find anything. Shame.
Oh, crap.
Like what?
Yeah, right. Why did you need 2 armored cars and 20 SUVs if you didn't find anything?
Right. Well, that's just it. Nobody knew until later. It was. They did it under cover of darkness for the most part, and only in the morning. You can see. It's a great X-Files episode actually, where you're showing these guys the empty hole, and then 5 miles down the road, these neighbors see an armed convoy drive by.
Right.
Going, hey, wasn't that up near Clem's dig set?
Oh,
yeah,
man.
seemed
You
like
can't
it.
write this. Wow, terrible.
Again, I'm
Right.
sure they, if you believe in karma, something good will happen to these guys later on, and hopefully, if the FBI is listening, sometimes you do. Do something nice for them. Just, I'm not saying it.
Right. I mean,
and
give 'em
do
a
something.
finder's fee, something.
Yeah, do something more than a gift certificate to the local Cracker Barrel. Okay, something a little more substantial.
Yeah, maybe one free get out of jail card or get out of jail free card or something. Anything.
Anyway, all right,
I'll let you go.
What else you got? Because I do have to pick up somebody else from Canada.
Real quick, I started watching Young Sheldon, and because I couldn't get enough of Big Bang, and it's pretty much over. But they had an episode where young Sheldon was the one who came up with the formula to have the booster rockets flip around and come and land. And then in the show, they had it that Elon stole it from him, never gave him credit for it. And he was on the show. Weasley.
Well, I'm not. Again, Elon now under investigation by the Department of Justice. That's not going to go away anytime soon. He's probably going to go down as one of the worst CEOs in the history of business.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
like
guys,
an idiot, but maybe that's his character.
Maybe I just his quotes are just so terrible. He's just so terrible, and it was the way. And I'm sorry, when he was on the Joe Rogan show, and he was saying when Joe Rogan asked him that question about, what do you think about flat Earth, and Elon didn't even blink. He just it's just a troll. They're just trolling. They don't actually mean it, and. It's like, are you kidding me? We've been doing this for how long? And that's the position you're taking? We're trolling?
Right.
And that's when Joe had to correct him. I mean, I love that. Or Joe said, no, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's bad when Joe is correcting Elon.
Yeah, no doubt.
No man. Doubt. No, you're way off on this. You do not want to say that they're trolls, that they're trolling, because then, you've already lost.
That's why I always say he's still on our side. He is.
Joe, I think so too. I do too. I think that Joe has a soft spot for the conspiracy world. He's absorbed a lot of information. He's had a lot of guests on. I mean, by the way, I got a comment. I'm going to say something nice about Joe Rogan here. I followed him. He and I are the pretty much the exact same age, and I've followed him on and off. I mean, you follow, if you live in that same time frame, you're going to run into those people. But I watched him on news radio, and then when he got into
he was great on that.
The fight stuff, where he was into the fighting, and then he was commentating the fighting and doing all the man show and all this. He's been in media for a long time in different forms or another. I got to tell you, he's the best thing though. I have listened to a lot of his stuff, and I don't really care. Necessarily, some of his guests are good and some of them's not. Like, he's a good interviewer. I think he could have been like a career radio interviewer. He's good at getting people to talk about stuff. He's the way he listens, the way he engages them. He is good at what he does. I will give him that. Yeah. Do I disagree on some of his points and positions he took? Yeah. Is it totally his fault? I mean, if they had leverage on him. Anyway, I got to let you go. We'll talk.
Quick.
We'll talk after this, right?
Elon is so brilliant. No, see, I screwed it up. Damn it. Elon he has to be a genius because he says such stupid stuff. All right, there you go. Bye.
It's good. That's good. All right, man.
Later.
We'll talk soon. Bye-bye. All right, let's jump over to 250 area code. Sorry for the long wait.
Hey, Mark, how's it going?
Going pretty good.
Right on. It's Evan from Canada here.
Hey, what's happening up in beautiful British Columbia?
Not much. It's just autumn's here and leaves are changing color and whatnot.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
You and those damn maple leaves.
Right on.
And the national, well, it's province by province, I think, but you have massive curbside pickup, and it's a big thing up there. People don't understand, there's a reason why
What do you mean by up here? Don't you mean by over there?
Well, good point. Good point. Well, technically you are no. All right, fine. Over there. All right. North, magnetically north from us. And I didn't understand until I spent a year up there that, it's like, why do they have the freaking maple leaf on their flag? Why is the Canadian flag just a big leaf? Nobody else does this, right? Yeah, now I know.
Pot leaf soon.
Well, yeah, but let's face it.
Maybe.
If maple leaves, if you could smoke maple leaves, Canada would be the richest country in the world because they're everywhere. When they fall, it is no joke. it's like a major thing. I mean, special garbage trucks and special bags, and it's everywhere, and it gets picked up really, really fast. But it's interesting. So,
for sure. And I was going to ask you, because I remember you said before something about when you look up Flat Earth on YouTube, all this stuff shows up where it's like making it look stupid and whatnot, like conspiracies. It's the same thing for like when you type in crisis actors and like when you type in 911. It's like the same things. It's like all just conspiracy stuff coming up. But like 2 years ago when I used to look conspiracies up, like everything was there. And now it's just like, you know, I don't know, like there's a whole censorship for like, I looked it up why that is. And it said that there's a censorship that's happening now, like with YouTube for conspiracies. So like, what are they trying to hide?
Right. Absolutely. Again, there's some conspiracies they like hiding, and there's others they don't really. They aren't given, putting as much effort into. Crisis actors and shootings, that's easy because you can get the politicians behind you. But with Flat Earth, it throws people. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, it throws people. They don't know what to do with it. Heck, I don't blame them.
Well, just like when Joe Rogan asked Elon Musk, like, what do you think of Flat Earth? He didn't know what to do with it either.
No. Well, no, I mean, yeah, like you could tell that Elon had resigned himself. It was like, it's not serious. Like he really, I don't know what Elon does in his spare time, but he obviously isn't on YouTube because threw me. It's like, are you kidding? Everybody knows about this thing, but maybe in his case, again, I don't know what he does in his spare time. But he, but again, it's kind of, well, it surprised me. I mean, he's on Joe Rogan's show. So, and he's into tech, so somebody would have brought this up by now, especially after the SpaceX, after the Tesla he threw up there. Yeah. You'd think somebody would.
Eddie Bravo being friends with Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, whatever. It doesn't really matter. We're just going to steamroll on anyway. And after the Department of Justice has their way with him, because. Again, he doesn't understand what any definitions of trading protocols and rules mean, but whatever.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, no, I think that's everything. Thanks for taking my call, Mark. It was good talking with you, and keep rocking.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Before we pick up this next call, I just want to make a few quick announcements. I'm not going to be probably on Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes tomorrow. We have a scheduling conflict with the lovely Patricia Steer. If you guys haven't got your tickets yet for Denver, the conference, it's fe2018.com. That's fe2018.com. I will be attending a documentary screening up in Bellingham, Washington, a week from Sunday. Another thing, and if you haven't checked out Paul on the Plains' new channel, FETV, which is a takeoff on MTV, check that out on YouTube. And, there's a meetup announcement I was supposed to mention real quick, real quick, and then I'll grab the last couple calls. It's from Simon. He says, hey, I checked out the other blah, blah, blah. Happen to remember, please tell your listeners this week or next about the meetup in Chattanooga, Tennessee. It will be at Wally's from 5 to 8 p.m. October 13th. And I already made a trailer for it. He goes, feel free to give out my phone number and email. His phone number is 423-902-1591. And that is the meetup that's going to be in Tennessee. And you can also look that up. You can type in Flat Earth Meetup Tennessee. So hopefully you guys get something out of that. Let's pick up 254 area code. 254, you're on with Strange World. I think I got time for one more after this. What's going on?
Oh my gosh, Mark, I just said in Zooey1's chat, I was like, I'm not going to get on.
No, you're on.
I have a quote for you. It is a biblical quote, okay?
Okay.
But Peter and the apostles replied, we must obey God rather than human authority. From Acts 3:29. Anyway, nice. I didn't call to say that exactly to you. But
why not? I don't mind. I use chapter and verse from time to time. I have been known. How about, again, one of my favorite Psalms 19:1. And the firmament showeth his handiwork.
Are you're familiar with the windows of heaven? Friends were brainstorming the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea of, looking at the moon and the craters you may have been on Poncho Pete or heard this from somebody on Poncho Pete. I was talking about this the other day. They're all pointed at us, and they're like, it doesn't look like something necessarily hit them. It looks like something may have came out of them. So what if that's the windows of heaven that are the moon? What if that is the window? You know, you don't like have just like big cracks in your sky. They say that, you know, the Milky Way is the crack, some people say,
Right.
where you can see the big kind of
Yeah.
What
I know.
if the moon and the sun are actually windows, and that is the light of God coming through, but the moon's like tinted.
Right.
And those are like geysers, craters.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
sorry,
No.
another
Hey, look,
very
again,
far off thing.
I'm flat Earth. I can't shoot it down. So why not? Why not? I am more apt to believe nowadays, though, that there is a barrier between us and where the stars and the sun and the moon are. Meaning that, and that would sort of make sense in my book, in that they would never let all the little life forms that are down here ever reach it for various reasons.
Right, I agree. I think there is, but it's just a possibility thought. I thought was a good idea.
No, it's not bad.
And I had to bring it to you.
No. I like it. I do. I really, really do. For me, I don't know if the moon is reachable. It might be a window, but we don't have the key for it yet. I don't know if it's reachable.
No, I don't think it's reachable.
No, I mean by anything. Here's one of the big reasons why. Let's say you had a corporation. This is going to sound a little crazy. Let's say you had a corporation. Let's say General Dynamics teamed up with Frito-Lay, right? And I know I'm stealing this out of Hancock the movie, but they decide to put a corporate logo on the moon. Well, if our civilization was ever destroyed, you'd have to go up and fix that. You know, the landlord would actually have to fix the moon. And I don't think it's like, it's kind of a hassle. So I think the moon is pretty much off limits. That's just my opinion, though. Anyway, any shout outs? Because any shout outs?
Shout out to everybody. And yes, maybe you can get another call. Love everybody in Zulu Wants to Chat. I love everybody in Flat Earth. Shout out to my husband who woke me up. My mother-in-law, Angie. I think she talked to you the other day a little bit.
Oh.
And my son died. She's awesome. He's trying to bear through it as a youngster, knowing the truth, and that's tough for them.
Yeah,
I mean, it's tough for us. But
did
tough
you
for
show him
youngsters.
how old is he? How old is he?
He's going to be 20 this next month.
Yeah, I was about to say he might be a little
That's
old
not
then.
super young, but
You should
but
have
that's
him watch
that's
that.
a hard age.
Have him watch that middle school video, that middle school club, which I love so much.
Oh, that was awesome, by the way. I loved that. I loved
Yeah.
it. I shared it with everybody I know because that is hilarious. That's
still
awesome
don't-
and great.
I don't know what school that is. I mean, I found it by accident. They didn't send it to me. I just tracked this thing down where some kid just recorded it.
I know, and they shouted you out, though. They're like, oh,
I know. I was just listening to it in the background, and then all of a sudden I hear my name. I'm going, what is happening here? And it's like, wow.
That is awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah. If you guys haven't seen it, type in
Those
middle.
kids, they were super enthusiastic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's type in middle school flat Earth. If anyone hasn't seen it, it is a middle. Well, I heard it's a high school, but they got to be freshmen. They look really, really young.
It's like they have. It's like a sorority kind of, if you will, or not a sorority. What are it, like the chess club or whatever? But they're called the Flat Earth Club.
But it's not. It's during lunch, and they have this room all to themselves.
Yeah, it's
and
at the school.
yeah, with no teacher supervision, and these guys are like preaching the word. Now a lot of it's wrong, but it's fine. It's like, all right, well, go with it. Let's see where it takes you. Anyway, I gotta let you go, but we'll talk soon, okay?
All right, take care, hon.
Okay,
Yep.
bye-bye.
Take care.
All right, last call of the evening probably is going to be this one right here. Looks like 951. Are you on 951?
Yo, what's up, man? How's it going?
Hey, I know you. What's happening?
Dude, just got done with that chat with the quantum physicist.
Oh, right, from the documentary, the second chat. I was catching part of it, and then I had to do this. How did it go?
Not too bad. We're working on him slowly. At least he loves hanging out with us.
That's weird. Nerds don't really have a lot of friends. So I've got a funny feeling that you're probably the most social activity he's had in a long time.
Well, he keeps telling us about his friends from JPL and his friends from this and that. And he likes to use the word imagine a lot. He likes to use scientists' favorite word, imagine. And everything is beautiful. Like, the beautiful thing about everything is that he was trying to tell me that nothing actually is something. And I was like, dude, no, nothing means no thing, like nothing there. And something, by its own structure of its word, is there's something there. Not very difficult. So, yeah.
Yeah,
we need to get everything.
I hate it when they try to out nerd you with that stuff. Kind of like the same people that are I hear from time to time, because I've said, water is wet. And if you're nerdy enough, you're going to come in and say, well, no, technically water isn't wet. By the way, you want to know how a nerd argument starts? It always starts with the word actually. Actually, water isn't wet. A single water molecule isn't wet. And it's like, do you have a single water molecule? No. Do you have a glass of water? Yes. Well, then that's wet. And it's getting the glass wet, and it could get you wet. So don't start splitting hairs with me. It's killing me. Anyway, you've got you've got a minute until the music kicks. So what do you got? Hey, what else you got?
Oh, dude, I was just calling to say what's up. Because I missed the first half of your show.
Well, there was no first half of the show.
Okay.
Yeah, the show didn't even the station didn't pick up, so I'm sitting here beating on my keyboard. That's basically what I did for the first half of the show.
Wait, again?
Yes.
Didn't that happen like last week?
Yeah, but it only happened for 15 minutes. This time it happened for about 40. So.
Wow, somebody needs to get their ass in gear.
I don't know. We're working on it. No worries. It'll. Look, it's not their fault. It's Microsoft in this case, and we're trying to. It's going to get worse if I have to upgrade on this side. So we'll figure it out one way or another.
They're going to be the ones that need to get their ass in gear. I didn't say who. I just said somebody.
You know what? I'm gonna blame Paul on the plane because he's just a good scapegoat for just about everything. Anyway,
okay, yeah.
hate to do this to you, but we're running out of time. So say goodbye or your shout outs because the music's playing.
No worries, man. I just got a shout out to the research group, man.
Right on.
Peace out, bro.
Shout out to the research group. All right, see you guys next week. Same flat time, same flat channel.
It's a great honor and privilege for us to be here representing not only the United States.
Get those photos out of here! Come on, some treat chicks could do a better job!